Your Majesty. Lord Yuri bowed as soon as he was in the presence of Yin. You called for me? Yes, she nodded, placing the empty glass on the table. You may leave us, Suyu. Thank you. The green-haired servant nodded and left. When you called me here, I assumed it's not to have a drink with you, especially since you despise me so much, Your Majesty. The champagne is a curiosity to me. Yin shook her head, then she gulped. No, I called you here because I have a confession to make. A confession? Lord Yuri raised his brow. She said nothing, for Yin is now occupied by a battle. She's with herself. Just do it. Just do it for Uraka. She encouraged her own self. What she is about to do next will probably make her mother faint, as she is about to discard the words of etiquette and delicacy, the very thing her mother implanted in her mind, for Yin to grow up into a fine and respectable lady. The alcohol in her system started to work its magic as Yin boldly took steps towards Lord Yuri, and she knew it. She was latching on Lord Yuri. Your Majesty, stated the Lord, threw his hands up and tried to back away, but it only made Yin fall further into his chest. Yin tried to control how her body shook from disgust as she continued her act. She kept repeating that she has to do this for Uraka, for her friend. She must keep up the act. I have confession. After everything that has happened, Lord Yuri, Yin said, making her voice broken, as if she's crying, or the fact she's making an uncomfortable face right now. What? I lied when I said that I was mad about you hurting my friend, she lied. The truth is, I'm only mad at you, Lord Yuri, because believe it or not, I may have set my eyes on you for a long time now. The way that Yin's voice sounded so vulnerable just felt Lord Yuri's narcissistic personality, his way of thinking that he thinks that he's entitled to every lady he charmed, and the way he thinks that everyone is attracted to him, hence why he forces himself on everyone. What a fucking asshole, really. That's what Yin thinks about him. This is definitely an act to frame him, something that Yin has and was against before, but he pushed her back into a corner where she had no choice. Just like he said, things weren't always fair in the court of Bakugou Katsuki. So, this was her last resort. She only borrowed this idea. The idea of theatrics. The fact that it came from him. Yun had considered that there is a possibility this might not work out. I did not know you felt that, Your Majesty. But now you do, Lord Yuri. I kept this because I did not know how to appreciate you or approach you. I got mad. I lashed it out on you. I am just... Say no more, Yin. She flinched when he called her name, but then she morphed into a face that made her more appeared as if she's hopelessly romantic. With one hand, Yin reached up for the back of his neck, and she then looked up. She satisfied it all when she pulled him closer and she leaned in. Do you understand my affection for you? She whispered. You understand that I mean the way did. What I did to you. I have feelings for you. There was a pause. Lord Yuri's eyes searched her face, and then he held her hand that was on the back of his neck. No. Yin's act fell. Her mouth opened wide, and Lord Yuri removed her from him. He laughed, clearly amused and pissed at the same time. Then he sat on the couch. You really... His laugh got between his words. You really tried to copy what I did? Yin is now frowning. Lord Yuri placed a hand on his face and shook his head while he continued to laugh. I almost believed you, Your Majesty. You're great at theatrics. But then I reminded who I'm talking to. It was you. You cunning and clever woman. Ha! He scoffed. Yin did not take that as a compliment. You thought it was an act because you know I'm capable of doing it, she asked, and he nodded, still laughing. Yes, yes. Bloody enamorous. Then he stopped laughing and glared at him. Are you trying to upset me? Who knows? No. Don't try to act anymore. He stood up. You may be good at it, but I realize now. I know about it. You're really trying to set me up. But now that I found out, what are you going to do? No. Where's the fun in that if I tell you? You wrench. You can't just sit there and let that servant, can you? But now, you failed. I know you borrowed my idea, and you could only stop there. You can only stop at your theatrics. Yen felt angry that her plan did not work. There's an error. But she couldn't help but amuse the frustration she brought up to Lord Yuri. But everything's too late. She still has time. She looked at the clock by the fireplace to see that it's now 8 p.m. sharp. Lord Yuri, you should really know about improvising. All of a sudden, there was a knock from the door, and that was Yin's cue. Without warning, she walked up to Lord Yuri, grabbed him by the collar, and pulled him down to her on the couch. She laid on the couch as Lord Yuri still remained shocked on top of her. He placed both his hands on either side of Yin's head to catch himself. With a smirk, Yin said, Thank you for your idea. Then the door opened, and Bakugou stepped inside. Yin now held a terrified expression as she removed her hands off Lord Yuri and used it to cover herself. Yin saw Bakugou's eyes narrow into a glare as he witnessed the sight in front of him. Bastard, Bakugou growled. What do you think you're doing to my wife? Midoriya couldn't understand the situation he was in. He was in his room that night trying to distract himself by reading when Asui marched in and told him to follow her. She led him to the Queen's chambers where an argument is currently playing in front of him. Bakugou is mad, like hella mad, yelling at Lord Yuri while the said lord is backed away in a corner, scared and in panic. Yin, on the other hand, looks scared and is hugging herself. Whatever the hell is going on, Midoriya needs to know. My king, it wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. She orchestrated all of this. Lord Yuri pleaded. Oh yeah? Try to find another creative excuse to pin it on another woman, you pig. I saw with my own two fucking eyes that you're clearly forcing yourself on my wife. Bakugou hollered. Wait, Yin was assaulted by Lord Yuri? Midoriya turned to look at Yin with concern. He approached her and tried to console her, but Yin assured him she's fine despite her wearing a terrified look.
Oi, Deku, you said you saw him force himself on Roundface? He said, and Midoriya quickly nodded his head. Well, that's true, 'cause there's 2 of us now here who saw how much of a disgusting pig you are, you fucking bastard. Your Majesty, please let me explain. It was her. Your Majesty, it was her. Oh, shut it before I cut your fucking head off. Deku, call the guards.
Despite Lord Yuri screaming in fear, Midoriya went to fetch 2 guards, and they dragged the shrieking lord out of their sight. I told you. You'd get revenge. Once he was nowhere to be seen, Midoriya turned back to see Bakugou running a hand on his face as he turned to Yin.
You stay here. I'll handle that bastard, he said.
Please, don't let him come back here again, Yin pled.
Oh, he won't be coming back. All right. I'll scratch his disgusting face off my court.
With that, Bakugou marched away, leaving Yin and Asui with Midoriya.
Yin, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm all right, Yin says, still shooken up. Then she let out a breath of relief, and Midoriya paused. It worked, Your Majesty. It did, thank God. She giggled. Midoriya decided to ask, what worked? This is Her Majesty's plan to get back Uraraka, as what King Bakugou told her she needed to present a proof. And here it is. She just did it. Midoriya's mouth hung open as he looked back and forth between Asui and Yin. Although I needed to frame him to activate this, it was all wrong. But I did it for Uraraka. Before she could even say any more, Midoriya marched up to her and held her hand. He then lowered his hand. Thank you, Your Majesty, he whispered genuinely. He held happy and revealed that Yin was able to do something. He also felt grateful. Uraraka is coming back and was given justice because of Yin's efforts. He couldn't express how grateful he is to her. I only did what I had to do, Midoriya, she said softly. Now Uraraka will be with us once again. And once again, Yin had proven herself to Midoriya that she's capable of doing the right thing. Other than the fact that Midoriya was grateful because of Yin, he can now say that she had earned his trust. The same night, Yin stayed up late as she was unable to sleep no matter how she tried. The events from earlier crossed her mind every passing minute, and she couldn't help but feel shaken when she endured being pushed up against Lord Yuri. But even with the thought, she felt revealed that she was given justice to her friend and excited that Uraraka will be finally coming back now that her name is cleared. She felt giddy once again and decided to stay up till in her bed won't help, so she got up, wrapped in her robes around her form, and strolled around the palace halls. She carried a candle with her as she walked aimlessly, then passed a room that was open. The light poured out from the room and saw one particular blonde inside. What happened next, she did not think about it, but she knocked and entered Bakugou's study. Hello, she greeted, her voice chiming as it was an innocent child who sneaked into her father's office in the middle of the night.
Fucking hell, what are you doing here?
Bakugou asked. He pulled into a defensive stance when Yin startled him earlier, but now he sat back and relaxed. I couldn't sleep, and I saw that you still have more work to do. Can I help with the paperwork?
No, I can do this on my own.
He simply waved her off and picked up his quill. Yin remained silent and only sat in a chair in front of him. She placed the candle on his desk.
What? What else do you want?
Yin inhaled. I just wanted to say thank you for helping me with the whole Lord Yuri situation.
Yeah, well, thank you coming from you sounds weird to me.
Huh? I'm serious.
Did I even help you? You did it all by yourself.
Yin tilted her head. Well, you were the one who told me I just needed proof of his wrongdoings.
That doesn't matter. It was you who devised your plan to frame him. And me see it.
Yin almost jumped in her seat, her mouth agape. You knew about it?
Of course I knew, he scoffed. You're clever enough to do that. It's fucking hideous. The look on that pig's face as he realized his own game was used on him.
You knew, yet you played along.
Well, he deserves it.
Yin's mouth remained agape, but eventually a smirk grew on her face. And eventually she leaned back in her chair and just remained thankful that Bakugou did not snitch on her. She decided to change the subject. You seem to act different these past few days. Bakugou looked up when she said that. His eyes narrowed.
You did not scream at me that often, and you seem calm.
Huh?
The fuck you talking about? I'm my usual self.
I was wrong, she sighed defensively.
Don't go assuming I've gotten soft, woman.
I will refrain from doing that because now I can see you're still the same angry ball of energy.
I'm not angry.
Yin did not listen. She only continued to laugh and eventually died down. But she breathed out, not fazed by Bakugou's glare. I'm very genuine, though. I am really thankful for you. There was a small silence as Bakugou sat aside his quill.
I owe a woman back there in the south.
Well, we repaid each other now, Yin said, resting her elbow on the arm of her chair and placed her head in her palm. This is nice, too, us being civiled with each other. Bakugou said nothing, and Yin now felt her eyes getting heavy. She decided to go to sleep. I'll be going now, Yin said, standing up and grabbing her candle again. Good night. Without waiting for Bakugou to reply, she went out and ventured to the dark hallway yet again. She walked until she reached the doors of her chamber, but a figure suddenly startled Yin, and she nearly jumped, but calmed down when the light hit Midoriya's face. Midoriya, what are you doing here, and so late? With such a determined look, Midoriya stepped up towards her and uttered his next word. Your Majesty, I've decided to join your coup.